Welcome back to the channel. It is a really sunny day here in Ireland and everybody's cutting their lawns and everything, and what am I doing? I'm back in the shed. So what are we doing today in this episode? We're putting the whole front of the car back in again. I was talking to Mike Fitz in groupd.ie. Yeah, my spring choice in the front of the car last year was a little bit of a mistake, I think myself. I'm not running an anti-roll bar in the car, and I went with 8K springs on the BCs, on the BC coilovers. So I'm thinking I want to step that spring rate up. I want the front of the car a little bit harder. Maybe it's my preference, I don't know. You might tell me I'm right or wrong, but I think I just found with the 8K springs, even with the BCs set hard, the car was just like floating like this on transition and stuff. And I think if I had a harder spring rate in the front, it wouldn't allow the car to it was sort of like washy. It was weird what it was doing, so just didn't feel right. I done something I shouldn't have done how I wanted to do it, because I tensioned up the springs of the BCs, which I shouldn't have done. They are already, tension is set on them from factory. So yeah, the Chelsea Dunofas and all that, they would kill me for doing that. It's meant to be very bad for them, so that's why I want to undo what I've done. It was just a quick fix going into some of the rounds just to get the car handled right. And do you know what? When I tensioned it up, the car handled so much more better. So that's why I want to get them 8Ks out and put in a 10K or a 12K. Not just sure yet. Look, the 8Ks, maybe in wet track, the 8Ks would be a lot better. But for dry tracks, which we had a lot of dry tracks last year, the harder spring might be better. I could be wrong. It could be just my driving, the way I like the car. I don't know. But if you think I'm mad, or you think I'm right or wrong, do comment below and let me know. Right, subframe. The last episode we got it painted. We painted up the hubs, we tidied them all up, the arms, all that sort of stuff. So we're going to work on getting all them back into the car. We're still waiting for the bolts for the engine, so the engine stays as it is. Yeah, let's get to work putting all this back in, get my can of copper grease and grease up all them bolts so they come back out nice and neatly again when I do it again. So enough chat, let's start putting this car back together and see how we get on. So it's all going back together very easily. Little bit of grease and everything, so when we are on track side, there's nothing seized around, everything's greased up, so it should come out freely. But look, a little bit of paint in the hubs and the arms and the subframe as well tidies it up. Something unbelievable. Even the black in underneath, it's just a whole new car, so it's a good job. And a bit of a time lapse there, nearly back together that side. Holding back on the coilovers, as I says, I'm just waiting for Mike Fitz to get back to me, see if he can get me the springs. Mike Fitz, what would you call him, a drift veteran, so he would know exactly if what I'm thinking is right or wrong, so he should let me know. So we'll wait on the coilover, so we might just leave that as is, basically just the coilover. So we'll do the same on the driver's side, and then looking at this power steering rack, I want to tidy up that rack as well. It's very grubby looking, so I want to tidy up that rack and take off all the old tie rods, inner and outer and all that sort of stuff, and we'll put all new ones on that. But yeah, we'll work on that in a minute. But in terms of doing the front, I'll go and do the other side now, and then, as I said, wait on the suspension. I just seen actually my fire suppression system piping, so yeah, I think it's time enough putting that back in. Just yet, I think that might be the final piece. But another thing actually, so whoever's watching, if you are in the drift world, can you let me know in the comments your fire extinguishers, your plumbed in fire extinguishers. Mine is out of date. who services the fire extinguishers in Ireland to basically redate them. Can you comment below or DM me or let me know, because I do need to get mine in date again, because I know when I was in BDC last year it was like a month out of date and they just about let me go on it. So I really do want to get that service and get that in date again. So if you know anybody, as I said, DM me or comment below and let me get that service and get another little job ticked off the box. Okay, let me get back to the driver's side and get this driver's side assembled. Pretty simple enough process there. The extended E46 arms with the modded E46 hubs, and of course my biggish enough 330D brakes. So that's all on there now. All a bit of copper grease on it. Just had to shave this down just a little bit because it was a little tight coming out, and what did I do? Hit the crack of a hammer, so I just had to chamfer off the edge there to get that nut back on it. So it's all back on there, and yeah, everything is starting to look pretty fresh on the front, which is nice. So the next thing then is to freshen this thing up. Yeah, in time. So I'm going to get to work here on the power steering rack, strip it all back down, clean it all up, and yeah, paint it up and have it looking nice, so everything in the front will look all brand new. Won't last brand new for long, but it will look pretty cool. Okay, let's get to work on these. And another thing, actually, now that I'm on the video, does anybody know where you will get polyurethane engine mounts? I think 46, 36, they're all pretty much the same. These are pretty beaten up. They are pretty beaten up, and the little tab that sits into the subframe is gone off it as well. And yeah, anybody stock these, do let me know. We did have a good few here. Probably won't have time to go to China Sourcing Services to get more of them, but if anybody has some in stock or lying in their shed, do let me know or send me a DM. I will buy them, and I'll just keep these for spare because I don't know how many lads I've helped out at Drift Days, but it's always handy to have them spare. So anybody have a new set, do let me know and send me a DM, and I will buy them off you, and we'll keep them for spares. So all you BMW guys, if you need spare engine mounts, come to Niall Goes Drifting, and always there to help the boys out. So get to work on the steering rack now, strip it down, get tidying up. Okay, so I just got the power steering all stripped down. Did find a little bit of play in that, I don't know. See a little bit of scoring on it too. But side to side, doesn't seem to be any play in it at all. So hoping that is still good. And yeah, clean all that down. It doesn't seem too bad, just need a quick clean. And yeah, so I've all my inner tie rods out, or track rods, or what is the correct name for them? Tie rods, track rods, anyway, the inners. So basically this is what was on the car, all right, and as you can see there, like, it was threaded in a mile. So these were extended, but when we had that little bit of a boo-boo with Ronan McGrath in Mondello, we used this and it worked 100% fine. So then some lads are saying, well, all this messing with extending and da-di-da-di-da, use the E90. So that's your E90. That's your modified one. And this, I don't know what this is. I'm going to have to go into Line for Car Parts and get a standard E46 one and see if the E46 one is the same as this one. This one works fine, so even if I put my little rack spacers in here, that will bring me out another couple of mil, which would extend that overall thing, and I'd get away with that 100% fine. So anyone ever questioning your E46 or your E36 arms and E46 and what tie rods and inner tie rods, stuff like that, this is the difference in them. So the E90 to me looks way too long for the amount my arms are extended, because if you come down here, yeah, you can see it there. So as it says in the other video, 2.5 inches, it's about 65-70 mil added in there, like. So it doesn't really take that long of track tie rods to basically make up for that. So yeah, I need to go back into Longford Car Parts and chat the lads in there, see what the story is. So I'm going to bring back the E91 because it is way too long, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to stick these back together and use them as spares because I know they work. So I love having spares because the more spares you have, the better. So we're going to keep these for spares. I'll actually bring this one with me to Longford Car Parts for reference. But yeah, these, I think these are still good, so I might still use these. These are 100%, and these don't usually in a smack. If you do hit the front of the car, these, I've never seen these bend. Now other people, you might tell me you have seen them bend. Probably if it gets hard enough slap, it will bend it, but these are usually the first to go. So it's always good to have loads of spares there. So pack that one back up, put it back in the box, bring it back down for car parts, and see can we get something to match this. Just back from Longford Car Parts, so we do have two standard E46 inner tie rods ordered, and if we need be, we'll put a couple small washers on the rack side of it, but for now these will go in the spares department, so at least we know if we do hit this or anything happens, we do have spares for that. So that's that. Right, let's get back to cleaning this up, get a bit of paint on it, get it all nice and clean to match everything else in the engine bay. Is the power steering rack all cleaned up? I cleaned up actually pretty well, but I've it all masked up in the areas, and just a little glove there stop the fluid leaking out everywhere. I think just a little quick shot of paint, black paint, tidy it up so much. Tidy it up and have it nice and neat looking. It'll all match in, but tell me in the comments if I'm absolutely bonkers doing this stuff. But I like doing it. I like having everything fresh, new in the car, and it'll stand to it. So that's just me. Yeah, you might tell me I'm mad, but at the end of the day, when I have it all done, like, it's basically a whole new car up front. So gonna go out into our little spray booth and spray this up, and yeah, that's gonna pretty much wrap it up here for today, because as I said, I'm still waiting to see can I get a 10 or 12k BC spring to stiffen up the front of the car, but I'll be reading the comments, so you can let me know if I'm mad, or if I'm right, or if I'm wrong. So let me know on that. But yeah, as you've seen, I have all the front hubs in, and the arms, subframe, all nice and shiny again. So I'll hit that power steering rack with a bit of paint, let that dry. Wait till we see where we're at with the spring rate for the front, because I don't run anti-roll bar, so we need to see what the story is there. But yeah, it's only little bits and pieces, trying a little bit do as much as I can while I'm waiting for the bolts for the engine. But once the bolts for the engine is done and the bearings is done, it's going to be all hell for leather to get this back in and get it running again. So I'm hoping that on the next episode, I'm going to rip the whole back end then. I was actually meant to do it in this one, but I decided I'll get the front pushed on a little bit, that we are very close, that when we get the engine in, that all that end of it will be done. And yeah, so on the next episode we are going to be ripping the back end out of this, taking everything out of it and doing the same again. So I don't know if I'm going to get much clips of that. I suppose there's only so much you can watch of me rubbing down and painting and stuff like that, so I mightn't get too much clips of that. I'll get clips of it, taking it out, putting it back in, stuff like that, and checking the diff over as well, to see what the story is with the diff. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Do let me know about the spring rate, and yeah, do let me know in the comments below. Another thing is, if you've got this far in the video, thank you very much for watching this far. I've got the tracking number for the new merchandise. So you probably would have seen my old merchandise was just like N-Gertie 187. So I went and got all new designs done. Limited stock. So there's only a couple of sizes. There's only a couple of each size. So do keep an eye on that. When that comes, I'm going to drop it fairly quick, and hopefully get that merchandise out the door, which will help me build my car. And thanks all again for watching. When the merchandise comes, make sure to get some. I'm not going to show you yet. It is very cool. It's very, very cool. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, that's it. I'm ranting on here. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.